All right, guys, what do you guys think? To me, the biggest turnaround from game one to game two was game two was nothing like game one. I mean, Anthony Davis dominated game one. He did not dominate game two. The Lakers dominated in the paint in game one. They did not dominate in the paint in game two. Steve Kerr basically said, "Hey, GP2, you're going to be my sacrificial lamb as far as minutes." GP2 did not get a lot of get a lot of run. But the Warriors get a 127-100 win. Anthony Davis held to 11, 7 and 4 for Anthony Davis. LeBron had 21 at the half, but finished with 23. D'Lo with 10. Rui Hachimura had 21. Nice night for Rui, but it was Klay Thompson night. And Klay Thompson had 30, 11 of 18 on the field goals, 8 of 11 on threes. Sixth time in his career, guys, that Klay has parked 8 threes. That's the most of all time in a playoff game. 8 threes for the sixth time for Klay Thompson. 20 for Steph, 11 for Wiggins, who had the best plus-minus at plus 35. The big wrinkle was Jermichael Green started. Kevon Looney was sick. Do we believe that? No, I'm not saying conspiracy, but it is interesting that Kevon Looney was out, and it seemed like the adjustment was to get Jermichael Green in there and to spread the floor a little bit, give them a little bit more offense, but still have a big man in there. It worked incredibly well. Draymond almost had a triple-double, 11, 11, and 9. I thought Moses was good. And 10 points off the bench. Warriors bench produced 40 points and 16 rebounds. And good game for the Warriors, man. They plus 15 on the glass. They had 38 assists, plus 10 on the break, plus 6 points in the paint. A nice win for Golden State, a great bounce-back win. What'd you guys think?
Well, the biggest adjustment I saw, and Dan mentioned it pre-show, was that they put the ball into Steph Curry's hands. They didn't run him around off ball quite as much as were they giving him the rock, having Draymond set the pick, and Curry was making excellent decisions. And he had a bunch of hockey assists as well, where Draymond's getting it, they're collapsing on Draymond, and he's kicking out to JaMychal. So I saw the adjustment that Kerr made, and he said, hey, typically he's got this free motion offense. Tonight they made an adjustment, and it paid dividends. Kind of neutralized the Lakers' length in a way because they were kicking out to so many open shooters and getting these open looks. Lakers had a ton of blocked shots game one, so they cut down on those. And like you mentioned, Larry, JaMychal Green showed up big time. He was excellent tonight. Stretched the floor. He was hitting the three ball. Klay Thompson, 8 of 11 from distance. I mean, Klay was in the zone. This whole team was locked in. It was just a great performance, and glad to even up the series here.
No doubt. Brandon Simmons says Draymond on AD full-time worked. Carl, what was your primary takeaway on this one? A great bounce-back win for Golden State. They had to have it, and they got it.
I'm going to go with 3 things, Larry. When we were in post-game after the last game, I said that it was very clear that Draymond Green was going to show up. I knew he'd be very disappointed in his performance. He felt like he didn't bring the energy. He didn't bring the verve. He didn't bring the decisiveness, and he clearly did that tonight. He wanted to guard Anthony Davis. He was prepared for it. Whatever they had on the scouting report, it was done to beauty. Even a couple of back cuts AD made. Draymond was on the little slip passes that were going there. The second thing was, of course, Jermichael Green showing up as a veteran. We talked last game about certain players and trying to find minutes and what could Kerr do, and he was being stubborn and all these things. And I remember sharing that he wasn't being stubborn. He was being a professional. He was being a winner. And part of winning when you're coaching is to make some decisions that may not be pleasant, including in your own locker room, because you have to challenge guys to be all about the group and not about the individual accomplishments. And I love the professionalism Gary Payton showed tonight, not playing very many minutes until pretty much the game was, of course, at hand. But he came out, he played with the same energy, the same effervescence. He was aggressive around the 10. Those things sent a great message to all young players. The third guy was just the fact that Moses Moody brought such a tremendous energy. He basically bottled up his Gary Payton too and said, hey, I'll do what I do and add in some of the defensive stalwart work that Gary puts in on some of their bigger wings. Roy Hachimura is becoming a really tough check in the series. Fortunately, though, he's so vulnerable defensively that they can't afford to make him the primary focus of their offense. And you could see LeBron in the second half just look like he had really put a lot of energy out in the first half. And I think if they could have made a run, he might have could have pulled up a little bit more. But because the Warriors had extended it, I think it was time for them to just say, hey, let's go ahead and just get prepared for Game 3. And Game 3 is a critical piece. I believe the Warriors are going to come out, win Game 3, bring out the same fire they brought out tonight, and I think they're going to snatch momentum for this series.
Rye joins us as well. Danny, before you jump in, Rye, good to see you. Exciting night. Before Danny jumps in, even though Danny was here first, we'll let you go first to kind of work you in to the conversation since you're sitting right there. Go ahead, Rye. What'd you think? And then we'll let Danny get in here.
I mean, it was a good game. It was satisfying. I was kind of sort of what I was expecting, I guess, as far as AD and LeBron kind of really only going for how. Oh, I love that. I love that. You might have to turn the virtual background off because that Clay is fire. But yeah, Clay showed up. Man, I would have loved to hear Michael Thompson on the call because, like, what the hell is that guy thinking? Like, he's got to be rooting for Clay, right? And then, Steph, I thought Steph had an awesome game. He kind of conserved energy. He sort of did what he did. I honestly thought in the previous game, he was sort of feeling it out. You see, like, LeBron, especially like later stage LeBron doing that a lot. He was kind of feeling it out. And he knew he had to get his guys going, especially after Game 7. And especially that man right there, Clay on his boat. So that was awesome. And, I mean, I think it is interesting as far as AD goes. I mean, historically, Draymond has done a great job on AD, especially in big games, just because he knows how to – first of all, he's quick enough to move with AD. You get Looney out on AD, past a certain amount of – he's going to blow right by him. So even though it's like Looney's great and he's a big body, Dre can stay with him. He's actually got a pretty similar standing reach. And Dre just knows those little things like, I'm going to push AD outside the key because I know there's a big part of AD's brain that thinks, you know what? I can shoot the jumper. I can shoot threes. Like, he can get in his head like that. And overall, I just thought it was good. But I mean, had to have this one.
Danny, what'd you think? Great win for the Warriors. I kind of thought they were going to bounce back. I bet it. Did you bet it?
I meant to, and then I had a phone call 10 minutes before the game, and it was a kind of a little crisis, and I had to take care of it, and then couldn't. I was like, I want to get into the game. I got in. The game had just tipped off. So, but no big deal. I didn't worry about the bet, but I thought the key to the game was Kuminga getting 10 minutes. Yeah, no.
Wait. JD's going to come in here and just start ruffling feathers.
Yeah, no, Kuminga got his 10 minutes. No, the key, I got five or six things, and I'll sum up the five as in one, the starting five. Mm-hmm. All of them played well. Both Greens. Wiggins had a very quiet. Well, I wouldn't say quiet. It was kind of a quiet 20, but it was an efficient 20. It was he hit shots when he needed to. He was down there helping out on D. Curry played an excellent game distributing the ball with 12 assists. And then, of course, Clay. And then the bench, I'm going to give, Moody was awesome. I mean, that one thing where he was on the ground and just yanked it away from somebody. And, I mean, he's just showing total heart and tenacity going out there. And then I thought DiVincenzo played not a bad game. Pretty good. He hit some key shots. He hit that driving reverse layup, then hit how many threes did he have? 2 or 3?
He hit 2, but he took 8, which was actually
but the ones
really
he
good.
hit were
aggressive.
Right. The ones he hit were key parts of the game during the run. And I thought
my favorite DiVincenzo play was when Moody kind of tried to get it to him on a bounce pass that got away. DiVincenzo dove on the ground for it.
Yep.
Kicked
Good
it
hustle.
to Wiggins.
Floor burns.
Wiggins slung it to Curry in the corner for the 3. Like, I loved that play by DiVincenzo.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you look at the plus. Clay was plus 28. Wiggins was plus 35. And Curry was plus 24. They led the way. I thought Poole was pathetic again. Just like, nothing on offense really. And then defense, he's just like such a liability out there. I
don't get his mindset right now. I mean, not to jump in over you there, Danny, but I mean, game 1, 30 minutes, and he looked good in game 1. He had 30 points. He shot 55%, but 73% of his shots came from behind the 3-point line, and he just could not score or finish in the paint. And to me, I wanted to see him drive more and go to the free throw line more. Coming into tonight, Poole had attempted 28 threes against the Lakers in the last 3 games. So, you had reason to expect there was going to be more hoisting, but he just seems totally disconnected offensively and just kind of out of rhythm. I mean, I really think that I was listening to Kenny Atkinson in the pregame talking about this, and he was saying how he thinks Poole is such a key guy because of the way they're going to defend Steph, that they need Poole to make shots. But I wish they would emphasize to Poole, if they're not, maybe they are, to go to the bucket and to try to get to the line, because, I mean, 1 free throw attempt in game 1. We are 2 games into this. This guy shoots 94% from the line, and he has taken a total of 3 free throw one free throw attempt, right? He had none tonight. He had 1 in game 1. And I mean, it's not like he shot a bunch of threes tonight. He only took 2 threes, but he just looks out of sorts offensively. I don't think they can do this. I know they can't get by Denver without him, but I don't think they can even get by this Lakers team without him. If he can't get into a rhythm, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Well, one of the things you have to think about with Jordan is if Jordan's not having a huge offensive night, we know that is his critical way that he can impact the game. That's his huge mass. That's where he can paint the biggest part of the portrait of a victory. Tonight, you could see he was a little bit off balance defensively, ended up with 5 personal fouls. He just couldn't seem to get out of the way. But the one thing he did do was he didn't hoist a lot of threes. He at least scored his 3 buckets from inside the lane. So he was aggressive. He had a putback. He had a couple of layup attempts. He missed one. If nothing else, you want to see him say, hey, if it's not there tonight, let me root for my teammates who are out there and who are playing well. And that was one positive that we can take. We know he's going to have to score, but we only need him to score in 4 wins.
And they cut way down the whole team, really. 42 attempts. The other night was, 53? I mean, Curry was 3 of 5. He only took 5 3-pointers.
DiVincenzo took the second most threes. He took 8.
Yeah, Clay took 11.
Who had been hesitant. So there was the positive and aggressiveness from him, from Moody. There was the one drawback of not being able to play Draymond and Looney together, so you have your 2 best defensive bigs. But I thought JaMychal Green, outside of 1 bump foul on AD, did a really good job defensively. And the other thing was he gave us something we were looking for, an athletic guy in the front court. He had 2 dunks tonight.
Yeah, he could stretch the floor, too. I mean, he creates space on offense.
I thought he would play a factor in this series. I really did. I thought one of the turning points, and I'm going to give credit to Kerr, calling the challenge in the second quarter on that charge to LeBron. It ended up getting 3 points out of it. They got a T on, Handy. Or is it Handy or Hand?
Phil Handy.
Handy, right, yeah. Phil Handy, they got a T, and then Wiggins hit the 2 free throws. That was a big turnaround because that put them up by 10. And it wasn't like, oh, man, you're like, hey, it's only 1 foul. It's LeBron didn't have any. It wasn't like it was getting LeBron in foul trouble, but you could feel the Warriors starting to make a run. And I feel like Kerr sensed that. It was like, yes, let's take advantage of this right now and get 2 points out of it. And then the bonus with the T was great. But, and then Jeff Van Gundy's like, oh, I think he's in legal guarding position. I mean, what are you talking about? He turned his shoulder. He's sideways. How is that I ref basketball. He's not set in a guarding position. What a moronic comment that was.
Well, I want to pile on Eric Lewis, because that's the official who made that call. And you know me, guys, I don't like to really talk officials, but there were 3 atrocious calls by Eric Lewis in this game. I had to write them down. There was the overturned charge call that you spoke of. There was another play where Russell had the ball and he's reaching back and he's grabbing Steph's arm, and Lewis whistles Steph Curry for a foul, which that was awful. And then there was another play where D'Lo went up for a shot in a manner that was completely unnatural, just trying to draw some type of contact. Lewis blew the whistle on that. So in that first quarter, to me, it appeared like referee Eric Lewis had a substantial wager, potentially first half Lakers.
Well, I'll tell you one thing also that, since it did go a little bit both ways, how about the non-traveling call on Steph Curry?
Yeah.
Well, he kind of bobbled it for a sec. He kind of bobbled it. That was the out there. It looked like.
I know, but you can bobble it as long as you let go of it. But if you bobble it and move your feet and then regather it and pass it,
you can bobble it all the way down the court.
It looked like a travel.
It's called walking. Yeah, could you imagine? It's like the basketball equivalent of the holy roller.
Okay, I get where you're going. Okay.
No, but I mean,
it
was a travel. It was a Steph Curry favorable call.
One,
for sure.
One area I think the league totally blew it tonight, and if I'm Draymond, that call where Schroeder pulled his knee could have been a potentially season-ending injury by yanking on his knee out. I mean, what's the difference
what's the purpose of that too? What was the purpose of that?
I mean, if you get it in the nuts versus the knee, I mean, come on.
He was sending a message. Guys don't like to get the drag screens, Dan. I know your brother Steve teaches that drag screen.
Yeah, I tell you pull that knee though, I'm telling you, next time somebody does
highlights, he's whacked people.
It's a common foul. This precedent's been set.
They ain't doing that at Del Boca Vista. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, you'll be some serious breakdancing.
We at least have to be fair. Last year in the second round in the Memphis series, Jordan Poole did that when he grabbed Ja Morant's knee.
Yeah.
So we enjoyed the fact that we didn't get our guy thrown out.
I just think that's a dangerous precedent, because now you come around that screen, just grab the guy's knee if you want to commit a foul, and maybe you knock him out of the series.
It's a little bit more of a adult point on what you guys are saying is the thing that I think ultimately is the most annoying is that these players that are kind of spazzes tend to get a more favorable whistle than a guy who's just totally in control like a Steph Curry. Because you think about it, Malik Monk, the guy just spazzes out at the rim. That was last round, of course. And then Schroeder. I mean, Jordan Poole gets way better whistle than Steph. That guy is spazzing all over the place. He just does it so quickly and abruptly and jerkily that, it's like, if you're a ref, like, what are you going to do?
You think he got hit?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So
we've seen 2 games so far, Ryan, and you're right on it. And Steph Curry has officially shot 1 free throw that was the cause of a foul when he had the ball in his hands, or even an off-ball foul. The other 2 free throws he took were for technical fouls.
Oh, think about he averages about 5 free throws a game, even like during the season. Think about how much winning he's done over his career, and how probably at least 2.5 of those are from end of the game, and he's shooting free throws because they're up so big, or technical foul.
The